I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, March the 28th, 2016. Israeli forces uncovered a stash of weapons last night in the West Bank. Several rifles, shotguns, magazines, parts, and ammunition were among the items found by 3 IDF units operating in a joint raid in Hebron. Also last night, an improvised explosive device was found in the Jenin area and safely deactivated by Army sappers. And today, 2 Arab residents of East Jerusalem were charged with attempting to attack Israeli security forces with an explosive in the name of the Islamic State terror group. 23-year-old Musab Elian and 38-year-old Samir Abed Rabo are accused of plotting to manufacture an explosive and detonate it against an IDF vehicle last year. They're also charged with membership in an illegal organization, in a terror group, and supporting a terror group and contacting foreign agents. Israel is urging its citizens presently visiting Turkey to leave and has called on the public not to travel to the country. Israel's Counterterrorism Bureau at the Prime Minister's office issued the travel warning today and raised the terror risk in Turkey from level 3, which is a basic concrete threat, to a level 2, a high concrete threat, following the March 19th terror attack in Istanbul that left 3 Israelis dead and nearly a dozen Israelis injured. The Prime Minister's office said the attack underscored the threat coming from terror cells of the Islamic State. Israel has named a new consul general for New York City. Dani Dayan will take over the role from present consul Ido Aharoni when he finishes his term. Back in August, Dayan was named by Netanyahu to serve as Israel's ambassador to Brazil. However, there had been strong opposition from Brazil because Dayan used to head the Yesha Council, the committee representing the Jewish settlements in the West Bank. Dayan said of his new appointment, "I believe I can implement an Israeli public diplomacy revolution in North America, whose beating heart is New York," adding, "I will be sure to conduct comprehensive and respectful dialogue with all segments of American Jewry, Orthodox and Reform, liberals and conservatives, and with supporters of both parties, Republican and Democratic, all while representing the positions of the State of Israel faithfully and devotedly." The United Nations Human Rights Council passed a resolution Thursday calling for the creation of a blacklist of companies operating in the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. The resolution was initiated by the Palestinian Authority and several Arab states. The Anti-Defamation League strongly condemned it. National Chair Marvin Nathan and CEO Jonathan Greenblatt called the bill a gift for supporters of the BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement. They said this resolution must be seen in the context of the Human Rights Council's continuing and escalating single-minded criticism and shaming of Israel, with no regard to working to promote Israeli-Palestinian reconciliation, support a two-state solution, or to call out Palestinian behaviors which have led to escalation, conflict, and stasis. President of the World Jewish Congress, Ronald Lauder, condemned the council as well. He said the countries that dominate the council's agenda have again made it clear that their prime concern is not human rights, but rather the vilification of Israel. And this morning, Lauder spoke at an anti-BDS conference in Jerusalem sponsored by Ynet and Yediot Aharonot, where he said the world needed to see through the lies of the BDS campaign. Lauder said BDS tries to present itself as some sort of a democratic movement concerned with human rights. That's a lie, he said. It's an international campaign to incite hostility against Israel and the Jewish people. And Israel's President Reuven Rivlin addressed the conference as well, where he said it was imperative to distinguish between criticism of Israel, which was legitimate, and efforts to delegitimize Israel. Rivlin said the BDS movement is a movement founded on the non-acceptance of Israel's existence. Well, Georgia has become the latest state in the United States to pass legislation against the BDS movement. On Thursday night, the Georgia General Assembly passed a bill hoping to deter corporate entities from taking part in the anti-Israel campaign. The bill was sponsored by Senator Judson, who called the legislation a critical step forward in defending Georgia's state economy and public policy. and referred to it as taking a stand against the anti-Semitism and discrimination of the BDS movement. Georgia joins several other states who have passed similar legislation over the last few months, like South Carolina, Illinois, Florida, Arizona, and Colorado. The bill now awaits a signature from Georgia Governor Nathan Deal. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, March the 28th. At 7 o'clock, you can share in the opening plenary session of the 2016 APAC National Policy Conference, which was held on Sunday, March the 20th at the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C., with keynote speaker Vice President Joe Biden. Then at 9, Mark Golub sits down with author and advocate Joshua Safran on L'chaim. At 10, former Chief Rabbi of Great Britain, Lord Jonathan Sacks, sits with NPR's Ira Flato for a program on science, religion, and the search for meaning. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, publisher and columnist for the Jewish Journal of Greater Los Angeles, David Suissa, who discusses the reasons why Donald Trump received a positive response from the APAC audience, as well as the concerns he has about his candidacy. That's with Mark Golub on tonight's In the News. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, March the 28th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.